Shri Rajalakshmi Prakashan published. A textbook on fundamentals of agronomy 1. Authors: Dr. D. N. Jagtap, Dr. P. B. Pawar, Dr. U. V. Mahadkar. Chapter 7th. Role of plant nutrients in crop production, importance of manures and fertilizers and its classification. Plant nutrients. Plant nutrients are the chemical elements that are essential to the nourishment of plant health. Each plant nutrient performs a crucial role in plant growth and development. 16 plant nutrients are essential for proper crop development. Each is equally important to the plant, yet each is required in vastly different amounts. These differences have led to the grouping of these essential elements into three categories: primary, macro, nutrients, secondary nutrients, and micronutrients. Primary, macro, nutrients. Primary, macro, nutrients are nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. They are the most frequently required in a crop fertilization program. Also, they are needed in the greatest total quantity by plants as fertilizer. Secondary nutrients. The secondary nutrients are calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. For most crops, these three are needed in lesser amounts than the primary nutrients. They are growing in importance in crop fertilization programs due to more stringent clean air standards and efforts to improve the environment. Micronutrients. The micronutrients are boron, chlorine, copper, iron, manganese, molybdenum, and zinc. These plant food elements are used in very small amounts, but they are just as important to plant development and profitable crop production as the major nutrients. Especially, they work behind the scene as activators of many plant functions. Role of plant nutrients. Nitrogen. Necessary for formation of amino acids, the building blocks of protein. Essential for plant cell division, vital for plant growth. Directly involved in photosynthesis. Necessary component of vitamins. Aids in production and use of carbohydrates. Affects energy reactions in the plant. Phosphorus. Involved in photosynthesis, respiration, energy storage and transfer, cell division and enlargement. Promotes early root formation and growth. Improves quality of fruits, vegetables, and grains. Vital to seed formation. Helps plants survive harsh winter conditions. Increases water use efficiency. Hastens maturity. Potassium. Carbohydrate metabolism and the breakdown and translocation of starches. Increases photosynthesis. Increases water use efficiency. Essential to protein synthesis. Important in fruit formation. Activates enzymes and controls their reaction rates. Improves quality of seeds and fruit. Improves winter hardiness. Increases disease resistance. Calcium. Utilized for continuous cell division and formation. Involved in nitrogen metabolism. Reduces plant respiration. Aids translocation of photosynthesis from leaves to fruiting organs. Increases fruit set. Essential for nut development in peanuts. Stimulates microbial activity. Magnesium. Key element of chlorophyll production. Improves utilization and mobility of phosphorus. Activator and component of many plant enzymes. Directly related to grass thinning. Increases iron utilization in plants. Influences earliness and uniformity of maturity. Sulfur. Essential of germination of pollen grains and growth of pollen tubes. Essential for seed and cell wall formation. Promotes maturity. Necessary for sugar translocation. Affects nitrogen and carbohydrate. Chlorine. Not much information about its functions. Interferes with pea uptake. Enhances maturity of small grains on some soils. Copper. Catalyzes several plant processes. Major function in photosynthesis. Major function in reproductive stages. Indirect role in chlorophyll production. Increases sugar content. Intensifies color. Improves flavor of fruits and vegetables. Iron. Promotes formation of chlorophyll. Acts as an oxygen carrier. Reactions involving cell division and growth. Manganese. Functions as a part of certain enzyme systems. Aids in chlorophyll synthesis. Increases the availability of P and Ca. Molybdenum. Required to form the enzyme nitrate reductase, which reduces nitrates to ammonium in plant. Aids in the formation of legume nodules, needed to convert inorganic phosphates to organic forms in the plant. Zinc. Aids plant growth hormones and enzyme system, necessary for chlorophyll production, necessary for carbohydrate formation, necessary for starch formation. Aids in seed formation. Manures. Manures are plant and animal wastes that are used as source of plant nutrients. They release nutrients after their decomposition. Manures can be grouped into bulky organic manures and concentrated organic manures. A. Bulky organic manures, farmyard manure, FYM, compost from organic waste, night soil, sludge, sewage, green manures. B. Concentrated organic manures, oil cakes, edible, non-edible, blood meal, fish meal and bone meal. Fertilizers. Fertilizers are industrially manufactured chemical containing plant nutrients. Nutrient content is higher in fertilizers than organic manures and nutrients are released almost immediately. The fertilizers has three groups. Straight fertilizers supplies single nutrient, example, urea, muriate of potash. Complex fertilizers supplies two or more nutrient, example, 17 hours 17 minutes and 17 seconds NPK complex. Mixed fertilizers supplies two or more nutrient, example, mixture of straight fertilizers. Importance of manures and fertilizers. Organic manures bind the sandy soil and improve its water-holding capacity. Organic manures open the clayey soil and help in aeration for better root growth. Organic manures add plant nutrients in small percentage and also add micronutrients, which are essential for plant growth. Manures increases the microbial activity, which helps in releasing plant nutrients to available form. Organic manures should be incorporated before the sowing or planting because of slow release of nutrients. Fertilizers play an important role in crop production as they supply large quantities of essential nutrient to crops. Fertilizers are manufactured in forms that are readily utilized by plants directly or after rapid transformation. Fertilizers dose can be adjusted to suit the requirement as determined by soil testing. Balanced application of nutrient based on crop requirement is possible by appropriate mixing of fertilizers. Fertilizers applied as straight fertilizers, providing single nutrient, or complex and mixed fertilizers, supplies two or more nutrients based on crop requirement. Organic manures. Organic manures include plant and animal byproducts such as oil cakes, fish manures and dried blood from slaughterhouses. Before their organic nitrogen used by the crops, it is converted through bacterial action into readily usable ammoniacal N and nitrate N. These manures are therefore relatively slow-acting, but they supply available N for a longer period. Advantages. Organic manures supply plant nutrients including micronutrients. Organic manures improve physical properties of the soil, water holding capacity, hydraulic conductivity and infiltration capacity of the soil. CO2 released during decomposition combines with water and forms carbonic acid and act as CO2 fertilizer. Organic manures supply energy, food, for microbes and increase availability of nutrients and improve soil fertility. Green manures have the additional advantage of fixing atmospheric nitrogen leading to nitrogen economy in crop production, and green manures draw nutrients from lower layers and concentrate them in the surface soil for the use of succeeding crop. Classification of organic manures. Point A. Bulky organic manures. Number 1. FYM A. cattle manure, B. sheep manure, C. poultry manure. Number 2. Compost. A. village rural compost from farm wastes. B. town urban compost from town refuses. Number 3. Sewage and sludge. Point B. Concentrated organic manures. Oil cakes. A. edible oil cakes, that is, used for cattle feeding. 1. Mustard cake, 2. Groundnut cake, 3. Sesame cake, 4. Linseed cake, 5. Sunflower cake. B. Non-edible oil cakes, that is, used as manures. 1. Castor cake, 2. Neem cake, 3. Mahua cake, 4. Karanja cake. Slaughterhouse wastes. I. Blood meal, 2. Bone meal, fish meal. Guano, material obtained from the excreta and dead bodies of seabird. Point C. Green manures. A. Leguminous plant, example, sunhemp, Sesbania sp, mung bean, cowpea, guar, CNG, berseem. B. Non-leguminous plant, example, sorghum, pearl millet, madge, sunflower. Point D. Green leaf manures. Green leaves of trees like neem, pungam, gliricidia, etc. Bulky organic manures. Bulky organic manures are those manures which are generally bulk in quantities and poor in plant nutrients, low quantities of plant nutrients. Example, farm yard manure, compost, sewage and sludge, etc. Point A. Farm yard manure, FYM. It is the manure produced in the farm which is made up of excreta, dung and urine of farm animals, the bedding materials provided for them and miscellaneous farm and household wastes. Straw, peat and sawdust, dry leaves etc. are used as bedding material for farm animal and accounts to 3 to 4 kilograms per animal per day. The bedding material is called litter and it absorbs urine voided by animals. It is not a standardized product and its value depends on the kind of feed fed to the animal, the amount of straw used and the manner of storage. In general, FYM contains 0.50% N, 0.25% P2O5 and 0.50% K2O. The excreta of horses and sheep are drier than other and do not get compacted in the heap. There is considerable aeration, bacterial activity and rise in temperature in the manure. They are therefore called hot manures in the temperate countries. Pig and cattle manure contain more moisture and compacted in the manure pit. Their decomposition is not as vigorous as that of hot manures and the rise of temperature is also low. Therefore, pig and cattle manures are called cold manures. The decomposition of cattle manures may be slower comparatively under temperate regions, but it is rapid enough under tropical condition. Point B. Compost. It is a manure derived from decomposed plant residues usually made by fermenting waste plant materials heaped or put in a pit usually in alternate layers with a view to bring the plant nutrients in a more readily available form. Supercompost, compost fortified with superphosphate is called as supercompost. Starters are the materials added to the composting organic wastes, which provide the decomposing organism. Pig dung slurry is a valuable starter and provides necessary organisms. Even cow dung slurry can be used as starter. Generally, ammonium sulfate and superphosphate are added to the layers at the time of furrowing the composting heap to enrich nitrogen and phosphorus status of compost respectively. Fertilizers accelerate and hasten the decomposition of organic matter or wastes. Point C. Sewage and sludge. In cities, human excreta are flushed out with large quantities of water, which is known as sludge. It contains two components. One is solid portion called sludge and another is liquid portion called sewage water. In general, the sludges are rich in N and P and low in K. The sewage water is used for irrigation after proper treatments. Table 7.1 Nutrient content of the bulky organic manures. Manure, number 1, cattle dung. Percentage composition of N 0.40%, P2O5 0.20%, K2O 0.20%. Manure, number 2, cattle urine. Percentage composition of N 1%, K2O 1.35%. Manure, number 3, FYM. Percentage composition of N 0.50%, P2O5 0.25%, K2O 0.50%. Manure, number 4, sheep and goat dung. Percentage composition of N 0.75%, P2O5 0.50%, K2O 0.45%. Manure, number 5, sheep and goat urine. Percentage composition of N 1.35%, P2O5 0.05%, K2O 2.10%. Manure, number 6, sheep and goat manure. Percentage composition of N 3.00%, P2O5 1%, K2O 2.00%. Manure, number 7, poultry manure. Percentage composition of N 3.03%, P2O5 2.63%, K2O 1.40%. Manure, number 8, horse manure. Percentage composition of N 2.00%, P2O5 1.50%, K2O 1.50%. Manure, number 9, horse urine. Percentage composition of N 1.35%, K2O 1.25%. Manure, number 10, pig dung. Percentage composition of N 0.60%, P2O5 0.50%, K2O 0.40%. Manure, number 11, pig urine. Percentage composition of N 1.10%, P2O5 0.10%, K2O 0.45%. Manure, number 12, farm litter compost. Percentage composition of N 0.50%, P2O5 0.15%, K2O 0.50%. Manure, number 13, rural compost. Percentage composition of N 1.22%, P2O5 1.08%, K2O 1.47%. Manure, number 14, town compost. Percentage composition of N 1.40%, P2O5 1%, K2O 1.40%. Manure, number 15, water hyacinth compost. Percentage composition of N 2.00%, P2O5 1%, K2O 2.30%. Manure, number 16, vermicompost. Percentage composition of N 3.00%, P2O5 1%, K2O 1.50%. Manure, number 17, night soil. Percentage composition of N 5.50%, P2O5 4.00%, K2O 2.00%. Manure, number 18, paddy straw. Percentage composition of N 1.50%, P2O5 1.34%, K2O 3.37%. Manure, number 19, sugarcane trash. Percentage composition of N 2.37%, P2O5 1.81%, K2O 1.81%. Manure, number 20, sewage sludge. Percentage composition of N 1.5 to 3.5%, P2O5 0.75 to 4.00%, K2O 0.3 to 0.6%. Concentrated organic manures. Concentrated organic manures are those manures which are rich in particular nutrients, N, but relatively having low volume of organic materials. Example, oil cakes, blood and bone meal, fish meal, press mud, etc. Point A. Oil cakes. Oil cake is the residue left after the oil is extracted from oil-containing seed. The manurial values of all cake lie mainly in its nitrogen contribution, though it is in small quantities. The nitrogen content varies between 3% and 9%. The C/N ratio is usually 3 to 15 for most of the all cakes. Table 7.2 Nutrient content of some concentrated organic manures. Manure, number 1, castor cake. Percentage composition of N, 4.0 to 4.4%, P2O5, 1.09%, K2O, 1.4%. Manure, number 2, groundnut cake. Percentage composition of N, 6.5 to 7.5%, P2O5, 1.3%, K2O, 1.5%. Manure, number 3, cotton seed cake, decorticated. Percentage composition of N, 6.9%, P2O5, 3.1%, K2O, 1.6%. Manure, number 4, cotton seed cake, undecorticated. Percentage composition of N, 3.6%, P2O5, 2.5%, K2O, 1.6%. Manure, number 5, linseed cake. Percentage composition of N, 5.6%, P2O5, 1.4%, K2O, 1.3%. Manure, number 6, coconut cake. Percentage composition of N, 3.4%, P2O5, 1.9%, K2O, 1.9%. Manure, number 7, neem cake. Percentage composition of N, 5.2 to 5.6%, P2O5, 1.1%, K2O, 1.5%. Manure, number 8, safflower cake, decorticated. Percentage composition of N, 7.9%, P2O5, 2.2%, K2O, 1.9%. Manure, number 9, safflower, undecorticated. Percentage composition of N, 4.9%, P2O5, 1.4%, K2O, 1.2%. Manure, number 10, sesame cake. Percentage composition of N, 4.7 to 6.2%, P2O5, 2.1%, K2O, 1.3%. Manure, number 11, mahua cake. Percentage composition of N, 2.5%, P2O5, 0.8%, K2O, 1.9%. Manure, number 12, Niger cake. Percentage composition of N, 4.7%, P2O5, 1.8%, K2O, 1.3%. Manure, number 13, Pangam cake. Percentage composition of N, 4.0%, P2O5, 1.0%, K2O, 1.3%. Manure, number 14, raw bone meal. Percentage composition of N, 4.0%, P2O5, 20 to 25%. Manure, number 15, steamed bone meal. Percentage composition of N, 4.7%, P2O5, 25 to 30%. Manure, number 16, basic slag. Percentage composition of N, 4.0%, P2O5, 1.0%, K2O, 1.3%. Manure, number 17, fish meal. Percentage composition of N, 4 to 10%, P2O5, 3 to 9%, K2O, 1.5%. Manure, number 18, blood meal. Percentage composition of N, 10 to 12%, P2O5, 1.2%, K2O, 1.0%. Manure, number 19, meat meal. Percentage composition of N, 9 to 11%, P2O5, 3.5%. Manure, number 20, horn and hoof meal. Percentage composition of N, 10 to 15%, P2O5, 1%. Manure, number 21, press mud. Percentage composition of N, 1 to 1.5%, P2O5, 4 to 5%, K2O, 2 to 7%. Manure, number 22, guano, Peruvian bird. Percentage composition of N, 11 to 16%, P2O5, 8 to 12%, K2O, 2 to 3%. Fertilizers. Fertilizers are synthetic, Commercially manufactured or naturally occurring chemical compounds, either dry, solid or liquid, that added to the soil to supply one or more plant nutrients for crop growth. Classification: the fertilizers are classified based on whether the fertilizer supplies a single or more than one nutrient, their chemical nature and commercial mode of supply as straight, compound, complex and mixed. Straight fertilizers. When a fertilizer contains and is used for supplying a single nutrient, it is called a straight fertilizer. This is further classified as nitrogenous, phosphatic, and potassic fertilizers depending on the specific macronutrient present in the fertilizer. Point A. Nitrogenous fertilizers. N fertilizers are those fertilizers containing N as major nutrient. It may be either a nitrate or ammonium or amide fertilizer depending on the form of nitrogen present. Table 7.3 Nutrient composition of different N fertilizers. Sources: number 1, ammonium sulfate. Nutrient content, percent, available, N 20.6%, P2O5 0%, K2O 0%, CaO 0%, NGO 0%, S 24.0%, Cl 0%, NH plus 4. Sources: number 2, ammonium chloride. Nutrient content, percent, available, N 25 to 26%, P2O5 0%, K2O 0%, CaO 0%, NGO 0%, S 0%, Cl 66%, none. Sources: number 3, ammonium nitrate. Nutrient content, percent, available, N 33 to 34%, P2O5 0%, K2O 0%, CaO 0%, NGO 0%, S 0%, Cl 0%, NH4 and number 3. Sources: number 4, ammonium sulfate nitrate. Nutrient content, percent, available, N 26.0%, P2O5 0%, K2O 0%, CaO 0%, NGO 0%, S 0%, Cl 0%, none. Sources: number 5, anhydrous ammonia. Nutrient content, percent, available, N 82.0%, P2O5 0%, K2O 0%, CaO 0%, NGO 0%, S 0%, Cl 0%, none. Sources: number 6, calcium ammonium nitrate. Nutrient content, percent, available, N 35%, P2O5 0%, K2O 0%, CaO 8.1%, NGO 4.5%, S 0%, Cl 0%, none. Sources: number 7, calcium nitrate. Nutrient content, percent, available, N 15%, P2O5 0%, K2O 0%, CaO 34%, NGO 0%, S 0%, Cl 0%, NO3. Sources: number 8, sodium nitrate. Nutrient content, percent, available, N 16%, P2O5 0%, K2O 0%, CaO 0%, NGO 0%, S 0%, Cl 0%, none. Sources: number 9, urea. Nutrient content, percent, available, N 46%, P2O5 0%, K2O 0%, CaO 0%, NGO 0%, S 0%, Cl 0%, amide. Sources: number 10, calcium cyanamide. Nutrient content, percent, available, N 21%, P2O5 0%, K2O 0%, CaO 0%, NGO 0%, S 0%, Cl 0%, none. Point B, phosphatic fertilizers. They are classified into 3 groups based on the solubility of phosphate contained in the fertilizer. Number 1, water-soluble phosphate, monocalcium phosphate, CaH2PO4, 2. Single superphosphate 16%, CaH2PO4, 2H2O. Double superphosphate 32% to H2PO4, 2H2O. Triple superphosphate 48%, 3Ca, H2PO4, 2H2O. Number 2, citric acid soluble phosphate, the calcium phosphate, Ca, H2PO4, 2. Basic slag, CaO, 3P2O5CO to 14 to 18%, byproduct from steel industry. The calcium phosphate Ca2, H2PO4, to 34 to 39%. Number 3, insoluble phosphate, tricalcium phosphate, Ca3PO4, 2. Rock phosphate 20 to 40% Ca3, PO4 to CF2. Raw bone meal 20 to 25% Ca, PO4, 3 CF2 to 4% N. Steamed bone meal 22 to 30%. Point C. Potassic fertilizers. Muriate of potash, KCI 60%. Sulfate of potash, K2SO4, 48 to 52%. Potassium nitrate, NO3, 48%, N 13%. Skunite, K2SO4, NGSO4, 6H2O 22 to 24%. Compound fertilizers. Compound fertilizers are the commercial fertilizers in which two or more primary nutrients are chemically combined. For example, DAP. DAP contains 18% N and 46% P2O5. Table 7.4 Compound fertilizers. Fertilizer number 1, the ammonium phosphate, DAP, N 18%, P2O5 46, K2O 0%. Fertilizer number 2, monoammonium phosphate, N 11%, P2O5 48, K2O 0%. Fertilizer number 3, urea ammonium phosphate, N 28%, P2O5 28, K2O 0%. Fertilizer number 4, ammonium phosphate, N 16%, P2O5 20, K2O 0%. Complex fertilizers. Complex fertilizers are the commercial fertilizers containing at least two or more of the primary essential nutrients at higher concentration in one compound. The nutrients in complex fertilizers are physically mixed. Table 7.5 Complex fertilizers. Fertilizer number 1, complex fertilizers, N17, P2O5 17, K2O 17 mf. Complex fertilizers, N14, P2O5 28, K2O 14 mf. Complex fertilizers, N10, P2O5 26, K2O 26 IFFCO. Complex fertilizers, N12, P2O5 32, K2O 16 IFFCO. Complex fertilizers, N14, P2O5 36, K2O 12 IFFCO. Fertilizer number 2, nitrophosphate potash, N15, P2O5 15, K2O 15. Fertilizer number 3, gromer, N14, P2O5 35, K2O 14. Mixed fertilizers. Fertilizers mixtures. They are physical mixtures of two or more straight fertilizers. Sometimes a complex fertilizer is also used as one of the ingredients. The mixing is done mechanically. The fertilizer mixtures are usually in powder form, but techniques have been developed for granulation of mixtures so that each grain will contain all the nutrients mixed in the mixture. Point A. Salts containing secondary nutrients. Calcium, sulfur and magnesium are termed as secondary nutrients since they are required comparatively less in quantity than primary nutrients, N, P, K, but more than micronutrients. They are added to the soil through some fertilizers, like ammonium sulfate, calcium ammonium nitrate and phosphatic fertilizers. Commercial fertilizers containing these secondary nutrients are number 1, magnesium sulfate, Epsom, 9.6% Mg and 13% S, number 2, calcium sulfate, gypsum, 9% Ca and 23% SO4. Point B. Salts containing micronutrients. Copper, zinc, boron, manganese, molybdenum, iron and chlorine are termed as micronutrients since they are required in micro quantities. They are added to the soil through some commercial fertilizers. Difference between manures and fertilizers. Characteristics number 1. Origin. Manures, plant or animal origin. Fertilizer, chemical synthesized or manufactured. Characteristics number 2. Nature. Manures, organic in nature. Fertilizer, inorganic in nature. Characteristics number 3. Type. Manures, natural product. Fertilizer, artificial product. Characteristics number 4. Concentration of nutrients. Manures, less concentrated. Fertilizer, more concentrated. Characteristics number 5. Material. Manures, supply organic matter. Fertilizer, supply inorganic matter. Characteristics number 6. Nutrient availability. Manures, slowly available. Fertilizer, may or may not be readily available. Characteristics number 7. Nutrients. Manures, supply all the primary nutrients including micronutrient. Fertilizer, supply specific type of nutrients 1, 2 or 3. Micronutrients may or may not be present. Characteristics number 8. Effect on soil health. Manures improves physical condition of soil. Fertilizer do not improve the physical condition of soil. Characteristics number 9. Effect on plant growth. Manures, no bad effect when applied in large quantities. Fertilizer, adverse effect on plant whenever there is deficiency or excessive application.
We politely request, please like, share and subscribe our channel Sri Raj Lakshmi Publication.